On December 18th of 2018, the Profit Taker update came to Warframe, and it brought something called the Gravimag. The Gravimag allows players to deploy their arc guns while on ground-based missions. This was like the new heavy weapon for Warframe. Took a lot of grinding to get access to it. Had a really cool animation, knocks enemies back, but it comes with some drawbacks. It reduces the amount of time that you can aim glide. It also has a very limited amount of ammunition, so you can't just use it constantly during the entire mission, or at least that seemed to be the way that it was designed. However, what about the DPS? The DPS wasn't really that good for the trade-offs, for the downsides of it. And at least for me anyways, I barely use these weapons anymore. But recently, Barricketeer blessed us with a new mod, Primed Rubedo Lined Barrel. Is Primed Rubedo Lined Barrel good enough to make these weapons, arc guns, viable or more powerful enough to compete with regular meta weapons? I would say, yeah, I'd say they're actually pretty good. They're in a good spot now. This is a step towards power creep, but I mean, well, that's a whole different issue to talk about. So I decided to test out the Imperial Vandal versus the Super Vandal. So these are the builds. On the top, you see the Super Vandal build, and on the bottom, you have the Imperial Vandal build. Now, before somebody goes in the comment section and says, oh, this is not a fair comparison because of X, Y, and Z, this isn't an apples-to-apples perfect comparison. I'm saying it right now in the video. I know it's not a perfect comparison. One of these is an arc gun, which has a completely different set of mods, and one of them is a primary rifle. And that has access to mods that arc guns don't have. Like, for example, in this build, I'm using Hunter munitions on the Super Vandal. And I think that's going to have a bit of an impact on the results of the test. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, but generally speaking, you can look on the left-hand side, that's the Super Vandal. You look on the right-hand side, that's the Imperial Vandal. And as you can see, the Imperial Vandal is killing enemies much, much faster than the Super Vandal. I averaged it all out. It's almost twice as fast in terms of its time to kill. I would say, too, that part of the reason why the Super Vandal didn't perform so well is because Hunter Munitions takes a while for the slashing and bleed procs to actually start to make an impact. And a lot of these enemies died in a fraction of a second. Which is testament to just how rampant power creep has gone out of control in Warframe. But anyway, that's a whole different issue. But yeah, it's good. The arc guns are in a pretty good spot, I'd say. They are competitive with regular weapons. It might actually be worth using them, even though they reduce your mobility a little bit, even though they have that animation time. I'd say they're in a pretty good spot to use for endgame content. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Flying Scorpion. If you liked the video, feel free to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. If you have any suggestions on how I can improve upon my testing methodology or any variables that I didn't consider or talk about in the video that would have an impact on this comparison, put it down in the comment section below so other people can see, and it'll help me do a better job of comparing weapons in the future. Before I go, I just remembered to say that the Leaping Thrasher, the last test subject, is immune to viral procs. Hopefully Digital Extremes will eventually get around to removing immunity to status effects from big enemies and bosses. They were talking about doing that. I don't know when or if they're still planning on doing that. But yeah, just a little nudge and reminder, the Sleeping Thrasher is immune to viral procs, and hopefully DE can make enemies vulnerable to all those status effects again at some point. Bye.